So my name is Frank Felice. I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Brand at Sonoma County Tourism. For those of you who may not be familiar, Sonoma County is the heart of wine country. Any wine fans in the room? Enjoys wine? All right. Let's connect after and talk wine. I'd love to do it all day long. So Sonoma County is located 45 minutes north of San Francisco. And back in 2018, our CEO, Claudia Vecchio, went under a major transformation of our organization. She transformed us from a destination marketing organization to a destination stewardship organization. And that was no easy feat, obviously convincing a board of directors who are really interested in heads and beds to really kind of embrace sustainability. But we were able to do that, and it was a fantastic kind of positioning that set us up for the future. And so our partnership with Kind Traveler was an important part of that. It was a program and an initiative that really helped support kind of our vision around sustainability. And we were seeing in our data that visitors were really interested in not just visiting Sonoma County, but also wanted to make an impact with our local community. And so the challenge we were facing at the time was, one, we didn't have programs or tools that would be able to support it, but then also we were short-staffed, which I'm sure everyone in the room can appreciate as well. And so our partnership with Kind Traveler allowed us to kind of dive into the sustainability organization. And I know, Jessica, you've got some examples of data around sustainability and our visitor preferences.
Yeah, in a recent study from Booking.com and in the late part of 2024, over 31,000 travelers were surveyed, and 71% of travelers expressed that they want to leave the destinations that they visit better than before they arrived. But the challenge is really there's no clear pathway that exists to give back to destinations, and voluntourism is not always an option. So this creates a really big gap between intention and action, and that's exactly what we set out to solve. So that's where Kind Traveler comes into the picture. We saw an opportunity to shift the narrative and create a model where a portion of every hotel stay with participating hotels would directly fund local community causes, whether it's environmental restoration, preserving local culture, supporting animal welfare. Every destination looks a little bit different on what it can do, but we make the impact transparent for travelers to see, and that creates a deeper emotional connection to the destination and increases trip satisfaction. So this emotional connection creates higher loyalty, and the measurable positive impact increases media interest. So travelers want to feel that their presence has purpose, and the model empowers them to do just that. So with Kind Traveler's Every Stay Gives Back model, no matter how or where a traveler books, a portion of their stay will fund local charities that drive community well-being.
And for us at Sonoma County Tourism, this was really a game changer. It allowed us to kind of really include sustainability into our visitor experience, which we hadn't been able to do before, and help us reach our sustainability goals. And most importantly, it helped us drive overnight visits by increasing conversions, which we all love to see. And this model, what worked for us is that it really makes it easy for visitors to be able to see the impact that they're making to Sonoma County. Here's a snapshot on this next slide of some of the results that we've seen with Kind Traveler. One example I'd love to talk about in particular, it's just close to my heart, is Farm to Pantry. Farm to Pantry was started by Dusky Estes. Again, we'll talk Food Network a little bit. Dusky Estes was on the 2010 episode of Next Iron Chef. She also appears on Guys Grocery Games. She's one of Sonoma County's local chef celebrities. She started this organization with volunteers that go to different farms and orchards throughout Sonoma County. They see produce that would otherwise go to waste. They go onto the property, they glean the produce off the property, and then donate it to local food bank to serve families in need. So since our partnership with Kind Traveler, that number 92,000, that's the number of servings that have gone to families in need since starting this program, and I just love telling that story. Through Every Stay Gives Back, what we love about it is that it's able to directly contribute to our local community just by visitors spending the night, and that's just awesome. One additional kind of story that I love to tell around Farm to Pantry. So for those of you who are familiar with Kendall Jackson Wines, they're a property that's in Santa Rosa. They have the most incredible culinary garden on their premises. As a home gardener, I'm off as envy. When I go onto premise, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the most incredible site. Farmer Tucker Taylor manages the farm, and he not only produces and grows produce for the culinary garden on site, but also multiple Michelin star restaurants in Sonoma County and San Francisco. So he purposely grows more vegetables than than the restaurants need to make sure that he meets their demands. So at the end of the growing cycle, there's all this excess produce that is meant for Michelin star restaurants, and that's where Farm to Pantry comes in. Dusky and her team come in, and they glean all the produce and then serve local families. So it's a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Frank. And these aren't just numbers. They represent real lives changed, real ecosystems restored, and real travelers making a tangible difference simply by choosing to stay in Sonoma County. There's another example I love. We partnered with an organization called the Russian River Keeper that helps restore the Russian River, which is one of Sonoma County's most precious natural resources. So with our nonprofit partners, we helped remove plastics and other waste that had built up, especially during the pandemic when over-tourism placed immense stress on this fragile ecosystem. So the river went from something that was once suffering to something that is now healing. And personally experiencing the river myself, kayaking, canoeing, I know it's such a wonderful way to experience Sonoma County, so keeping that resource protected and clean and available for all visitors was extremely important to the destination experience. And this impact that we created is only possible because of strong local partnerships. And I always say sustainability is never a one-time achievement. I know Jared said that as well. It's a journey, right? So no one can walk it alone. It takes collaborations between tourism boards, local nonprofits, hotels, and travelers who care. And the best part, the model isn't just for Sonoma County. It can be really anywhere in the world. The type of impact we can create is scalable. So now I think we're going to move into the marketing section of how we took those impact metrics and that sustainability story and celebrated it through marketing and PR. So what started out as a long-standing partnership with Sonoma County Tourism really started to take on even more momentum when it became a Visit California co-op. So we began scaling the power of impact storytelling, making the stories very emotional and personal, and really getting across a message that said, when travelers are part of something bigger, something good, they can become advocates and not just visitors, and that's what happened. Storytelling is where impact can become contagious, and Kind Traveler doesn't just rely on earned media to tell that story. We've built our own powerful storytelling ecosystem to amplify the impact of our destination partnerships. Just one example is our newsletter reaches about 100,000 conscious travelers with a 30 to 40% open rate, which is far above industry average. And these are travelers actively seeking brands and destinations that align with their values. Then we highlight these stories across our blog, social platforms, and the hotel impact dashboards that creates a 360-degree content journey that ultimately educates, inspires, and converts. So for destinations, it's not just sustainability partnership, but also one that is content amplification.
And our PR team loves this partnership. As you can see by the results, there's 260 media placements, 357 million views. So the story resonated far beyond Sonoma County, which was incredible. We always talk about wine, food, restaurants, redwoods. There's a lot to talk about in Sonoma County. However, this gave us a new relevant story that our PR and content team really leaned into, and which was really important. And as you can see by this slide, the Kind Traveler team puts this together, and it helps us to tell that story when we go out to key stakeholders, elected officials. We know you're driving tourism, but what else are you guys doing for our economy? This helps kind of paint that picture of what we're doing for locals as well.
There we go. So influencers can be vital in bringing the Every Stay Gives Back experience to life. Through immersive, heartfelt storytelling, they can transform a simple hotel stay into a meaningful narrative that's rooted in giving back. It's one thing to market a destination, but it's another to emotionally move someone towards conscious action.
Yeah, one story that I love to tell about influencers. So we had an influencer out. Her name was Manuela. Her handle was The Girl Gone Green. She came out to Sonoma County to capture a bunch of content for us around sustainability. She had the opportunity to participate with Farm to Pantry in a gleaning exercise. And when she went back to her hometown in Florida, she said she had noticed that there was the same opportunity. There were farms there that had excess produce, and there were obviously families in need. And so she started her own version of Farm to Pantry in Florida. And to see influencers come and not only just create content, but be so inspired by what they encountered in Sonoma County, to bring it home, it was breaking the barriers, and it was phenomenal.
I love that story. Thanks, Frank. Another aspect of the whole campaign is making it easy for hotels to invite guests into the giving story. So just as an example, this is a handcrafted plaque that has a QR code that links directly to the hotel's impact dashboard. So the traveler can understand how much of their stay went back to the specific charity that was chosen, what was the impact of their stay, why did it matter, and it really educates the traveler around that cause, makes them feel good about their stay. But it also, if there are voluntourism experiences available, which often the local nonprofits have really cool, unique stewardship activities, they will be connected to those experiences if they'd like to participate.
And it's really turnkey. We are very conscious when we go to our hotel partners with new programs. We're very sensitive about the implementation to make sure that it's as simple as possible. The last thing we want to do is introduce to our hotel partners something that is complex and difficult to implement. And I can contest the feedback that I received from our hotel partners was that it is simple and easy to implement, and so that's always a positive thing to hear that feedback. I know we're almost out of time. I personally will be around and happy to talk with anybody if you have any questions around the partnership. But just say, how can people get in touch?
Oh, thanks, Frank. Yeah, so if you're a tourism board or a community leader, I'd love to talk to you. Let's build an Every Stay Gives Back program in your destination. We believe that together we can redefine tourism as a force for good, one that does leave a lasting legacy of positive change. Because at the end of the day, we all get to decide what story will your destination be remembered for, a place to visit or a place to visit that also gives back. We'd love to connect after the session if you're available, and you can send me a message via this QR code that goes directly to my LinkedIn page. But I believe we probably have like a minute or two left for questions, so would love to take any if they're available. Jared? It looks like Jared over here has a question. Hey, Jared.
Can't get away from the microphone. So obviously, sustainability is big in my world. When you think about sustainability, what demographics do you see, or audiences do you see like to travel sustainably?
Yeah, I mean, from what we see, but also from what the research points to, we always see anybody can be a kind traveler, but there's 4 demographics that we see a lot of affinity with. There's a luxury traveler that places a premium on social responsibility. You have the wellness enthusiast that has a strong link with sustainability. Family travelers see giving back as a learning opportunity, and that Gen Z and millennial traveler, they're actually 2 times more likely to volunteer. So that's where we see a lot of affinity with them as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
No,
Seeing none?
I think
Nope.
we're good.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
thank you, everybody.
All right. Well, thank you so much.